Journey Through the Unknown: What the Universe Can Teach You About Life, by David Rousseau. What if the moments that unsettle you most, the uncertainty, the pressure, the feeling of drifting without direction, aren't signs that you're lost, but signs that you're on the edge of transformation? Out there in the vastness of space, stars collapse, time bends, and light itself struggles to escape the pool of the unknown. And yet, from that chaos, new structures emerge, reshaped, redefined, transformed. Now imagine this. What if your life follows the same pattern? What if every challenge you face is like approaching a cosmic threshold, a point where the old version of you cannot return, and the next version of you has yet to fully form? This isn't just a journey through the universe, it's a journey through you. Introduction. Close your eyes for a moment, and imagine drifting through space. There is no up or down, no past or future, just a quiet, endless expanse stretching in every direction. Stars flicker in the distance, ancient and distant, their light taking millions of years to reach you. Planets move in silent orbits, invisible forces guide everything, precise, powerful, and unseen. And yet, despite the vastness of it all, nothing here is random. Every movement, every collision, every moment of stillness is part of a larger pattern, a story unfolding across time and space. Now, slowly, bring your attention back to your own life, because in many ways, you are not so different from the universe you just imagined. You felt the pull of forces you couldn't explain, moments of pressure that seemed too heavy to carry, times when your path curved unexpectedly, leading you somewhere you never planned to go, and moments, quiet, powerful moments where everything changed, and there was no going back. These experiences can feel isolating, even overwhelming, but what if they aren't random? What if they follow the same fundamental patterns that shape the cosmos itself? In this journey, we're going to explore some of the most mysterious and awe-inspiring phenomena in the universe: black holes, gravity, time dilation, and the bending of space itself, not as distant scientific curiosities, but as mirrors, reflections of the challenges, transformations, and breakthroughs within your own life. You don't need a background in science to understand this journey. You only need curiosity and a willingness to see your experiences in a new way. Together, we'll step into the unknown, we'll approach the edge of what feels familiar, and cross into territories where clarity doesn't come easily, where control slips away, and where growth demands trust. Because just like the universe, your life is not a straight line. It bends, it stretches, it collapses, and rebuilds. And sometimes, the moments that feel like endings are actually gateways, thresholds into something greater than you can currently see. So as you continue listening, let go of the need to have everything figured out. Allow yourself to wonder, allow yourself to question, and most importantly, allow yourself to move forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. Because this isn't just a story about the universe, it's a story about becoming. Chapter 1. The Black Hole Within. Imagine you are standing at the edge of something you don't fully understand. It doesn't look dangerous at first. There's no warning sign, no clear boundary, just a subtle shift of feeling that beyond this point, things will never be the same again. In space, this boundary has a name: the event horizon. It surrounds one of the most mysterious objects in the universe, a black hole. A black hole forms when something massive, like a dying star, collapses under its own gravity. It compresses into a point so dense, so powerful, that its pull becomes inescapable. Even light, the fastest thing we know, cannot break free once it crosses that threshold. To an outside observer, a black hole appears almost silent, invisible, defined only by the way it bends everything around it. But inside, everything changes. Time stretches, space curves, the rules you thought you understood begin to break down. And while this may sound distant, cosmic, even it isn't as far from your own experience as you might think, because you felt something like this before. Moments in life where the pressure builds slowly at first, then all at once. A decision you can't undo, a loss you didn't expect, a realization that changes how you see everything. From the outside, your life may look the same, but internally, something has shifted. You've crossed a threshold and there is no going back to who you were before. This is your black hole, not something to fear, but something to understand. Just like in the universe, black holes don't appear out of nowhere. They are formed through collapse through pressure that has built over time. And often, in our own lives, the most transformative moments come from similar conditions, expectations, responsibilities, doubt, fear. They gather quietly, almost invisibly, until one day they feel too heavy to carry. And then something gives. It might feel like falling, like losing control, like being pulled into something deeper than you're ready for. But here's what most people don't realize. Falling is not the end of your story. In fact, it may be the beginning of your transformation, because inside a black hole, the universe doesn't simply disappear, it changes form. Matter is compressed, restructured, pushed beyond its previous limits. The old structure cannot survive, but something new emerges from that intensity. The same is true for you. The moments that feel like they're breaking, you are often the moments reshaping you, stripping away what no longer fits, forcing you to confront truths you may have avoided, pushing you beyond the boundaries of who you thought you had to be. And yes, it can be uncomfortable, disorienting, even terrifying, because when you're in the middle of it, you can't see the outcome. You don't know what's on the other side. All you feel is the pull, the weight of something you can't escape. But consider this. What if the discomfort isn't a sign that something is wrong? What if it's a sign that something powerful is happening? In physics, the closer you get to a black hole, the more extreme things become. Time slows, forces intensify. The closer you move toward the center, the less the outside world behaves in familiar ways. Life works in a similar way. The closer you get to meaningful change, the more unfamiliar things begin to feel. Old habits stop working. Old identities begin to fade. The rules you once relied on no longer apply. It can feel like everything is falling apart, but in reality, everything is being redefined. This is the paradox of the black hole within you. It feels like destruction, but it is, in many ways, creation. So, instead of resisting these moments, these periods of pressure, uncertainty, and deep internal shift, what if you approached them differently? What if you became curious? What if, instead of asking why is this happening to me, you asked, what is this transforming me into? Because every black hole begins with an ending, but it doesn't end there, and neither do you. So, if you find yourself at the edge of something unknown, feeling the pull of change, the weight of pressure, the quiet sense that you are no longer who you used to be, take a breath. You are not being lost, you are being reshaped, and this is only the beginning. Chapter 2. Crossing your event horizon. There are moments in life when everything changes, quietly. No loud announcement, no dramatic signal, just a decision, a realization, or a step forward that, once taken, cannot be undone. In the universe, there is a boundary that represents this exact kind of moment. It's called the event horizon, the point surrounding a black hole, where nothing that crosses it can return. From the outside, it looks like a simple edge, but in reality, it is a line between two entirely different realities. Before it, there is still choice, still time to turn back. Beyond it, there is only forward, and whether you realize it or not, you have already crossed many event horizons in your life. The day you chose a path you couldn't reverse, the moment you spoke a truth you could never take back, the instant you understood something that changed how you see yourself or the world forever. These are not just moments, they are thresholds, and crossing them can feel unsettling, because we are wired to want certainty, to believe that we can always go back, rethink, undo. But some choices don't work that way. Some experiences reshape you so completely that returning to who you were is no longer possible. And that's where fear often enters. Not fear of failure, but fear of finality. What if I make the wrong choice? What if I can't go back? What if I lose who I used to be? These questions can keep you standing at the edge, hesitating, waiting for perfect clarity that may never come. But here's the truth. No one crosses an event horizon with complete certainty. Even in physics, the exact boundary of an event horizon is something you can see or touch. It's defined by consequence, not appearance. You only truly understand it once it's been crossed. Life is the same. You don't always know which moments will change everything. Sometimes, what feels small becomes irreversible, and sometimes, what feels overwhelming becomes the very thing that sets you free. So, how do you move forward when you can't see what's on the other side? You trust, not in the outcome, but in your ability to face it. Crossing your event horizon doesn't require perfect knowledge. It requires willingness, the courage to step forward even when the path disappears beneath your feet. Because staying at the edge has a cost too. When you refuse to move, you remain suspended between who you were and who you could become. You feel the pull of change, but never experience the transformation that comes with it. You linger in uncertainty, without growth, and over time, that can feel heavier than the risk of moving forward. There's another perspective worth considering. From an outside observer, someone approaching a black hole appears to slow down as they near the event horizon, almost as if time itself is stretching. They never quite seem to cross it, but from the perspective of the one moving forward, the crossing happens. This contrast is powerful. To others, your changes may look gradual, even invisible. They may not see the exact moment your life shifts, but you will feel it. You will know when you've crossed into something new, when your old way of thinking no longer fits, when your past identity can't fully contain who you're becoming. And once you're there, something remarkable happens. The fear begins to change. What once felt like a terrifying unknown becomes a new reality. You start to understand, navigate, and even grow within, because crossing the event horizon isn't the end of control. It's the beginning of adaptation. You learn, you adjust, you discover strengths you didn't know you had, and slowly, what once felt impossible becomes part of your normal. So, if you find yourself standing at the edge of a decision, a change, a moment that feels irreversible, pause, not to retreat, but to recognize where you are. This is a threshold, a powerful one, and whatever lies beyond it is not there to trap you. It's there to transform you. Take the step, not because you are certain, but because you are ready to grow beyond who you've been. Because your life doesn't expand by staying where it's safe. It expands the moment you choose to move forward, even when you cannot return. Chapter 3. Gravity and Resistance. There is a force in the universe that shapes everything quietly, constantly, and without asking for permission. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. And yet, it influences the motion of planets, the birth of stars, and the structure of entire galaxies. That force is gravity. You cannot see it. You cannot turn it off. But you feel it in every step you take, in every movement you make. It is always there, pulling, grounding, anchoring. And in your life, there is a force that feels remarkably similar. Resistance. It shows up when you try to grow, when you try to change, when you step outside of what feels familiar. It's the invisible pull that makes new paths feel heavier than old ones. The quiet weight that slows you down just as you begin to move forward. Like gravity, resistance is not inherently bad. Without gravity, the universe would fall apart. Stars wouldn't form. Planets wouldn't orbit. Nothing would hold together. In the same way, without resistance, your life would lack structure. There would be no challenge, no growth, no reason to evolve beyond where you are. But here's where things become important. Gravity can either keep something in orbit or pull it into collapse. And resistance works the same way. There are moments when resistance is stabilizing. It keeps you grounded. It forces you to think, to prepare, to build strength before you leap. But there are also moments when resistance becomes limiting, when it keeps you circling the same patterns, the same fears, the same version of yourself. You feel it when you say, "I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready yet. What if I fail?" These thoughts aren't always loud. Sometimes they're subtle, almost reasonable. But over time, they create a kind of gravitational field, one that keeps you orbiting your comfort zone, safe, but unmoving. And the longer you stay in that orbit, the harder it becomes to break free. In physics, escaping a gravitational field requires energy, what scientists call escape velocity. Without enough force, an object will always be pulled back. The same is true for you. Breaking out of limiting patterns, habits, or beliefs requires effort. It requires intention. It requires a conscious decision to push beyond the pull of what feels easy and familiar. And yes, that can feel exhausting, because resistance often increases right before you make progress. Just like a rocket uses the most fuel at liftoff, you may feel the greatest friction at the very moment you're about to move forward in a meaningful way. This is where many people stop. They interpret resistance as a sign they shouldn't continue. But what if it's the opposite? What if resistance is not telling you to quit? What if it's telling you that what you're doing matters? That you are pushing against something real? Something established? Something that has held you in place for a long time? And that kind of movement, real movement, always requires effort. But here's the shift. You don't have to fight gravity to move within it. Planets don't resist gravity, they work with it. They find balance within its pull, creating stable orbits that allow them to move freely while still being held in place. You can do the same with resistance. Instead of seeing it as an enemy, you can learn from it. Ask yourself, is this resistance protecting me or limiting me? Is it helping me prepare or keeping me stuck? Because not all resistance is meant to be overcome immediately. Some of it is there to slow you down, to help you think more clearly, to ensure that your next step is intentional rather than reactive. But when resistance becomes repetitive, when it keeps you in the same place, facing the same fears, having the same internal conversations, it may be time to push through, not recklessly, but deliberately, with awareness, with purpose, because beyond that resistance is movement, and beyond movement is growth. So the next time you feel that invisible pull, that heaviness, that hesitation, that quiet voice telling you to stay where you are, pause, not to give in but to understand. Recognize the force at play, and then decide, will you remain in orbit, circling the same space again and again? Or will you gather the energy, the intention, the courage, to break free? Because gravity may shape your path, but it does not have to define your limits. Chapter 4, Curved Space, Curved Paths. We like to think life follows a straight trajectory. Pick a goal, make a plan, check off the steps, reach the destination. Clear, predictable, certain. But the universe doesn't move in straight lines. Space itself curves. Massive objects like planets and stars bend the very fabric around them, shaping the paths of anything that moves nearby. Light doesn't travel in a direct line around these giants. It arcs along the curves they create. What seems straightforward is often influenced by forces you can't see. Your life is no exception. You may start with a precise vision of where you want to be, a strategy that feels solid, a path that looks straight, and then something shifts, an unforeseen obstacle, a delay you didn't account for, a new opportunity pulling you off your intended course. Suddenly, the straight line you imagined begins to bend. At first, it's disorienting. You may think, this isn't what I expected. I've gone off track. I need to get back on the original path. But what if you were never off track? What if the bends were part of the design all along? In space, objects do not fight the curvature, they follow it. The curve isn't a disruption, it is the journey. Likewise, in life, delays, detours, and unexpected turns aren't always deviations. They may define the shape of your journey. Think back to the moments that changed you the most. Chances are, they didn't unfold as planned. The job you missed that led to something better. The ending of a relationship that forced you to rediscover yourself. The setback that slowed you down just enough to notice what mattered. In the moment, these twists can feel like interruptions. Over time, they often reveal themselves as turning points. Paths bend not to take you away from your destination, but to guide you toward it in ways you couldn't anticipate. And here's a critical point about curved paths. They demand trust. When the path twists out of you, you must rely on more than certainty. You must continue moving without seeing the full picture. It can feel unsettling. Straight paths comfort us because they suggest control. If we follow the steps, we imagine we can guarantee the outcome. But growth rarely comes from certainty. It emerges from adaptation, from discovering how to navigate when the ground shifts beneath you, from learning who you are in motion. A curved path is not a failed one. It's flexible, adaptive, responsive to forces beyond your awareness. So, when life doesn't follow your plan, when it twists, slows, or diverts, pause before declaring failure. Ask instead, what might this bend be teaching me? Where might it be leading me that I couldn't have foreseen? Some of life's most meaningful destinations aren't found by moving straight ahead. They emerge when you let the path evolve and flow. So, if your journey feels uncertain, if the road ahead arcs in ways you didn't expect, breathe. You are not lost. You are moving along a path shaped by something larger than your intentions. Keep going. Trust the curve. Even when the endpoint is invisible, you are exactly where you need to be. Chapter 5. Time Dilation and Patience. In the vastness of space, time does not always behave the way we imagine. Near a black hole, clocks slow. An observer watching from afar sees someone approaching the event. Horizon move in slow motion. Moments stretch. Seconds become minutes. Minutes stretch into hours. What seems fleeting to the person far away feels endless to the one experiencing it. This effect, called time dilation, reminds us that time is relative, shaped by forces beyond our control. Life works in a similar way. When you face challenges, await a breakthrough, or endure uncertainty, time can feel sluggish. Days drag, progress feels invisible, and patience is tested to its limits. It can feel as if you're standing still while the world moves forward. But slowing down is not failure, it's part of transformation. Real growth, healing, and change cannot be rushed. Certain processes need time to unfold. Pressures sometimes must compress before expansion. Insights need space to crystallize. The cosmos shows that even under extreme conditions, change is occurring. Energy flows. Matter transforms. Even if time seems distorted, the process continues. The lesson for life is simple. Patience is power. Patience allows you to endure waiting, uncertainty, and discomfort without losing your center. It allows trust in invisible progress, guiding you toward wise actions instead of impulsive ones. It conserves your energy while forces beyond your control do their work. Picture yourself near a cosmic phenomenon, feeling immense pressure, stretched across time and circumstance. You cannot force the outcome. You cannot hurry the process. All you can do is remain present, open, and aware. Transformation happens quietly in that space. The universe doesn't rush. Stars take millions of years to form. Black holes take billions. Yet in that unhurried pace, immense beauty and power emerge. Your life is no different. Periods of waiting, slow progress, and uncertainty are not signs of failure. They are signs that profound change is taking place inside you. So when time feels long, when patience seems impossible, remember the cosmos. Remember time dilation. Remember that unseen forces are at work, shaping your journey even when progress is invisible. Slow down, breathe, trust the process. In the quiet and patient moments, transformation quietly unfolds, and when the time is right, you will step forward stronger, wiser, and ready for what comes next. Chapter 6. Traveling through the unknown. The universe is vast, and much of it is unseen. Even our solar system, with its familiar planets and sun, drifts through regions of space we cannot fully observe. Dark matter, cosmic radiation, interstellar voids, all are present, shaping the journey in ways we may never fully comprehend. Yet despite this uncertainty, the planets move, they orbit, they shift, they travel forward, guided by forces invisible to the eye. Life works in a similar way. There are times when the path ahead is completely unknown. You cannot see the destination. You cannot predict the challenges you will face. You may feel as though you are moving through darkness, guided only by intuition, faith, or the faintest sense of direction. And yet, forward motion is still possible. The fear of the unknown is natural. Our minds crave certainty, maps, clear roads. The absence of these things can trigger doubt, hesitation, even paralysis. But consider this: the universe does not wait for certainty before it moves. Stars do not pause because we cannot see them clearly. Galaxies do not slow because their paths are unknown. Energy flows, matter travels, time progresses. The key is to move through the unknown with awareness and trust. This does not mean you must be reckless. It does not mean you act blindly. It means accepting that you will never have the full picture and choosing to move forward anyway. Every step taken in the unknown is a statement of courage. Every decision made without clarity is a declaration that you trust your ability to adapt, to navigate, to grow. And here is the paradox. The unknown is often where the most profound opportunities and transformations occur. Like the solar system passing through regions of unseen forces, your journey through uncertainty can expose you to experiences, insights, and strengths that would never appear on a straight, mapped-out path. When you travel through the unknown, you learn to Listen to subtle signals. Trust your instincts. Adapt to circumstances beyond your control. Find courage in movement rather than certainty. It is here in the uncharted spaces that you discover your capacity for resilience, creativity, and vision. So, when the path ahead feels invisible, when the destination is hidden, and when the pressure of uncertainty presses against you, do not stop. Move forward, step by step, breath by breath, one decision at a time. The unknown is not your enemy. It is the terrain of your evolution. And just as the universe continues its journey through regions unseen, your life moves forward as well. Even when you cannot see the destination, the journey itself carries you toward growth, insight, and transformation. Embrace the unknown. Travel through it with courage, because it is in these unseen regions that you will find the next version of yourself waiting to emerge. Chapter 7: Wormholes and Unexpected Opportunities. In the vast expanse of space, there are places where the rules we think are fixed suddenly bend in surprising ways. Wormholes, for instance, are theoretical passages through space-time, shortcuts that could connect distant points in the universe in an instant. Scientists speculate about them, imagining a tunnel where the journey that would normally take millions of years could be completed in moments. Life works in a similar fashion. Sometimes, opportunities appear that seem impossible, unexpected, sudden, and beyond the scope of your plans. A chance encounter, a new idea, an unplanned path that opens doors you didn't even know existed. These are your wormholes. The challenge is that they are rarely obvious at first. A wormhole in space may be invisible to the eye. It is detected only through subtle effects, gravitational shifts, distortions in light, hints that something extraordinary is present. In life, opportunities are often the same. They may arrive in disguised forms: a difficult conversation that sparks insight, a detour that introduces a mentor, a setback that leads to an unforeseen advantage. The question is not whether they will appear, they will, but whether you will recognize them. To see a wormhole in life, you need 1. Awareness, noticing subtle shifts, patterns, or possibilities that others overlook. 2. Openness, being willing to step into something unfamiliar or uncertain. 3. Courage, moving toward opportunity even when it defies logic or expectation. These moments often require you to let go of rigid plans, to accept that your original path may no longer be the fastest, safest, or most meaningful route. It is tempting to wait for the perfect moment or the obvious solution, but in both space and life, the most powerful shortcuts appear when you are ready to act, not when everything is perfectly aligned. Wormholes also remind us that transformation does not always follow linear progress. Sometimes, growth is sudden and exponential. Sometimes, the universe provides a path that allows you to leap forward, instead of struggling through the long, predictable route. And just like a traveler navigating a wormhole, stepping into these opportunities can feel disorienting. You may feel as though the ground beneath you has shifted, that familiar rules no longer apply, or that the outcome is uncertain. But this disorientation is part of the process. It is the signal that you are moving through something extraordinary. The key is trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, and trust in the unseen forces guiding you. When you recognize a wormhole in your life, do not hesitate. Step through, because on the other side may lie a version of your journey and of yourself that you could never have reached through ordinary means. In other words, the universe often opens doors in ways we cannot predict, at times we cannot control, and in directions we could never have imagined. Your task is simple, yet profound. Stay alert, stay open, and when the opportunity appears, move forward with courage. The wormholes are there, the shortcuts, the breakthroughs, the unexpected paths. They are real, and all you need to do is step through. Chapter 8: Transformation Under Pressure. In the heart of a black hole, matter is compressed to unimaginable densities. At the center, the gravitational forces are so intense that they fundamentally change the nature of everything that enters. What was once ordinary is transformed into something entirely new. Your life works in a similar way. Pressure is inevitable. It comes in many forms: deadlines, loss, responsibility, conflict, and the weight of expectations, both your own and others. Sometimes it arrives suddenly, like a meteor striking without warning. Other times it builds quietly over months or years, a slow compression of stress and challenge. And just like matter in a black hole, you have a choice: resist and fracture under the weight, or allow the pressure to transform you. It is natural to want relief, to hope the forces pressing against you will disappear. But the truth is, pressure often catalyzes growth. It reveals your resilience, your creativity, your capacity to adapt. It shows you what you are made of. The paradox is that the same force that threatens to crush you is also the force that shapes you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. Consider, diamonds are created by immense pressure deep within the earth. Metals become tempered and stronger when forged in flames. And in life, challenges have the potential to refine your character, compress your distractions, and crystallize your priorities. Transformation under pressure is not instantaneous. It is a process of enduring, adapting, and allowing the intensity to do its work without losing your center. It requires patience and self-awareness. It requires understanding that discomfort is not your enemy, but a signal that something within you is being reshaped. Sometimes, the transformation is subtle. Other times, it is dramatic, but always, it is meaningful. Pressure strips away what is unnecessary, leaving you clearer, sharper, and more aligned with who you are meant to become. Here is the essential insight: you do not need to control the pressure. You cannot always change the forces acting upon you, but you can control how you respond. You can bend, you can endure, you can allow yourself to be remade by it. And when the process is complete, you may look back and realize that what once felt unbearable was exactly what you needed to evolve. The black hole within your life is not a place of destruction. It is a crucible of creation. So, when the weight of circumstances presses down on you, when life compresses you beyond your comfort, remember, this is not the end. It is a beginning of a version of yourself that could not exist without the intensity, the challenge, and the pressure you are experiencing right now. Embrace it, let it shape you, and step forward knowing that transformation often comes through the very forces that seem most impossible to endure. Chapter 9. Seeing the Other Side. Every black hole is mysterious, but physicists speculate that it might not be the end of the story. Some theories suggest that matter entering a black hole could eventually emerge elsewhere, or transform into something entirely new. The idea is tantalizing. What seems like a point of no return may actually be a passage to a different realm. Life mirrors this cosmic possibility. There are moments when you feel trapped, overwhelmed by pressure, uncertainty, or circumstances that seem impossible to change. You may feel as though you are falling endlessly, pulled into a vortex from which there is no escape. But the truth is, there is almost always another side. Seeing the other side begins with perseverance. It is the choice to keep moving, even when the way forward is hidden. It is the willingness to endure, to adapt, and to trust in your own resilience. It also begins with vision. Even when the immediate path is obscured, holding onto a sense of possibility, a mental image of what could be, guides you through the unknown. Vision is the compass that keeps you oriented when the terrain feels impossible. Faith is equally important, not necessarily faith in certainty, but faith in the process, faith in your ability to navigate the challenges, to learn, and to grow. Faith that what feels like an ending may be the threshold of transformation. Consider the most difficult moments of your life. Perhaps they were endings, losses, or failures. At the time, they may have felt permanent, but with distance, perspective, and perseverance, they often reveal themselves as beginnings in disguise, new opportunities, unexpected insights, or strength and character. The universe shows us this principle repeatedly. Stars collapse and explode, giving birth to new elements and solar systems. Matter enters black holes and may emerge transformed. The cosmos is not static. It is a continual cycle of collapse and renewal, destruction and creation. So too is your life. Every challenge, every period of intense pressure, every moment of uncertainty contains the potential for breakthrough. You may not see it now. You may not feel it. But if you keep moving, if you persevere, if you maintain vision and faith, the other side will reveal itself. And when you finally emerge, you are not the same as before. You are stronger, wiser, and more capable. You have crossed a threshold and discovered that what once seemed insurmountable was, in fact, a passage, a doorway to growth and transformation. The lesson is clear. Endings are rarely final, and limits are often illusions. The universe moves forward through collapse and uncertainty, and so can you. Keep moving, keep trusting, keep seeking the light beyond the darkness, because every black hole, no matter how deep, has the potential to lead to a new horizon, and every challenge you face has the potential to reveal a new version of yourself. Chapter 10, Your Cosmic Journey. As we reach the final chapter of this journey, take a moment to look back not just at the universe we've explored, but at yourself. From black holes to wormholes, from the pull of gravity to the curves of space, we have seen that the cosmos operates in ways that are mysterious, complex, and often beyond immediate comprehension. Yet within that complexity lies a remarkable order of flow, a logic, a beauty that unfolds over time. Your life is no different. Every challenge you've faced, every moment of uncertainty, every detour or delay is part of a larger pattern, a personal cosmos in motion. Just as the planets orbit invisible forces, just as stars are born, collapse, and transform, your experiences are shaping you, guiding you, and pushing you toward growth in ways you may not yet fully understand. You have crossed thresholds, navigated resistance, embraced the unknown, and discovered opportunities that seemed impossible at first. You have endured pressure, practiced patience, and learned to trust yourself when the path was unclear, and in doing so, you have mirrored the universe itself, vast, dynamic, ever-evolving. Your journey is part of something extraordinary. It is interconnected with the lives of others, the world around you, and the broader rhythms of existence. Each choice you make, each challenge you face, and each moment of courage contributes to the unfolding story of your life. Here is the essential truth of your cosmic journey. You are both traveler and universe, observer and participant, explorer and destination. The unknown is not something to fear. It is the space where your potential resides. The pressure you feel is not something to resist. It is the force that refines and transforms you. The detours, delays, and curves in your path are not mistakes. They are part of the intricate design that guides you toward growth. As you continue forward, remember, the cosmos is vast, but so is your potential. The forces that shape stars, planets, and galaxies are the same principles that shape resilience, creativity, and transformation within you. You are on a journey that is meaningful, evolving, and extraordinary. And just like the universe, you are capable of growth beyond measure, exploration beyond limits, and transformation beyond imagination. So step forward with courage, navigate the unknown with curiosity, embrace the challenges, the detours, and the pressure. Your cosmic journey is ongoing, and it is nothing short of remarkable, because the universe is not just above you, it is within you. And the journey through the unknown is, at its heart, the journey of life itself. Conclusion: embracing the cosmic within. The universe is vast, mysterious, and often incomprehensible. Stars explode and collapse. Black holes bend space and time. Wormholes may connect distant realms in ways we cannot fully grasp. Forces we cannot see shape everything we know, guiding the motion of planets, the formation of galaxies, and the rhythm of existence itself. And your life is no different. You have seen that the same forces at work in the cosmos, pressure, resistance, uncertainty, and transformation exist within you. The challenges you face, the detours you encounter, the moments of waiting or fear, they are not obstacles to stop you. They are signals, guides, and catalysts. They are part of the extraordinary process of your growth. Just as our solar system may be journeying through regions of space we cannot observe, you are traveling through your own unknown. You may not see the full path ahead. You may not know what lies beyond the horizon, but movement, exploration, and transformation are still happening. The lessons of the universe are clear. Embrace uncertainty. The unknown is not your enemy, it is the terrain where growth emerges. Stay curious. Observe the subtle forces at play in your life, and allow them to guide you. Trust the process. Even when the way forward is unclear, progress is occurring. Transform under pressure. The challenges you face are the crucible of your evolution. Seek the other side. Perseverance, vision, and faith can carry you through even the darkest moments. Your journey is extraordinary because it is uniquely yours. Every choice, every setback, every breakthrough is part of a story that only you can live. Remember, the cosmos is not just out there, it is within you. Every force, every movement, every moment of transformation mirrors the infinite possibilities of the universe itself. So step forward boldly. Navigate your unknown with courage. Trust that what feels like uncertainty today is shaping the brilliance of your tomorrow. The journey through the unknown is not separate from the journey of life, it is life itself, and your cosmic journey has only just begun.